It's a plan that could reshape the future of education in the Lone Star State.
What we're trying to do is to give parents more tools in their toolbox, because raising kids and educating kids is difficult.
Education savings accounts move one step closer to becoming reality. We look closer at the consequential legislation making its way to the House floor. Texas has a vacant seat in Congress, but Governor Abbott is not rushing to call a special election. Critics say he's playing politics, keeping the seat open to help Republicans, while the governor says he has a good reason to move slowly.
No family, no patient should be targeted for trying to keep their child alive, for trying to access care for their loved one.
A push for accountability after leaked emails show an insurance company hired investigators to get information on patients and lawmakers. How the revelations could lead to action at the Capitol.
Produced from the Capitol in Austin and airing statewide, this is the award-winning State of Texas.
Hello, and thank you for joining us. I'm Josh Hinkle. One of Governor Greg Abbott's top priorities is headed to the Texas House floor. After hours of debate, the House Public Education Committee advanced legislation to establish an education savings account program. The plan to help parents pay for private schools using tax dollars now faces a hurdle it's failed to clear in the past. School children from different parts of the state toured the Capitol on Thursday, learning lessons about state government. At a building not far away, lawmakers made decisions that could have a lasting impact on how they learn those lessons. At issue, a program to allow families to use tax dollars to go to private school.
There are struggling parents in districts and from families that are certainly not as fortunate as you or I are in terms of our economic status. And all this does is doesn't make anybody do anything. It simply provides a choice.
Opponents question who benefits most from the plan. One lawmaker pointed out Texas billionaire Elon Musk's 8 school-age children would be eligible.
So if you sent them to a private school from pre-K to senior year, that's a total of $1.2 million in taxpayer funds for Elon Musk.
They also have concerns about the $1 billion program and the effect it'll have on public schools.
This voucher bill will eventually destroy public schools.
During a party-line vote, the Public Education Committee sent the Education Savings Account bill to the full Texas House. Republican supporters arguing the plan won't affect public school funding.
I guess I get frustrated that this is somehow taking money away, because it's not taking anything away from the permanent school fund.
Last session, the Republican-controlled House killed the proposal. Supporters believe this time will be different. The impact on Texas children yet to be determined. The Education Committee also approved legislation to increase funding for Texas public schools. House Bill 2 increases the basic allotment, raising state funding by $395 per student. The committee voted 13-2 to pass the legislation. It now goes to the full House for consideration. Our team spoke with Governor Greg Abbott just hours after the Texas House Public Education Committee passed the plan to allow parents to use public funds to pay for private schools. It's one of the governor's top priorities.
The deal is we can do both. We can prioritize public education as well as pass school choice to ensure that every parent is going to have the ability to choose the school best for their child.
We wanted to provide some context about what the governor had to say. We asked why he made education savings accounts an emergency item while not giving increased school funding the same priority.
We're going to finish this session with an all-time record high of funding for public schools, an all-time record high for teacher pay raise. We will ensure that public schools are going to be able to compete against school choice. But importantly, school choice will inject competition into the education process to ensure that both public schools as well as private schools will be achieving the best.
The governor included teacher pay raises among his emergency items. The Senate already approved a bill for graduated raises based on experience in a school district and based on the size of the school district. Per the National Education Association, the average teacher salary in Texas is just above $60,000. That is 30th in the nation. Currently, Texas lawmakers are working on funding for students and teachers. According to Education Committee Chairman Brad Buckley, again, the latest House bill raises the base allotment per student by $395. While that would be a record, in order to keep up with inflation and match purchasing power of before the pandemic, the allotment would need to rise nearly $1,400 a student. For 4 weeks, the congressional seat left empty by the passing of former Houston Mayor Sylvester Turner has remained vacant, and Governor Greg Abbott has yet to call a special election. The vacancy expands the narrow Republican majority in the House to 7 seats. At a news conference at the Texas Capitol, some Houston area Democrats accused the governor of playing politics.
The truth is that Governor Abbott is rigging the U.S. Congress to protect Republicans. My constituents in House District 147, who all reside in the historic 18th Congressional District, are without representation in Washington to date only because he knows that Congressional District 18 will elect a Democrat.
The criticism is also coming from the national level. U.S. House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries told reporters House Democrats would likely sue Abbott over delaying the call for a special election for the District 18 seat. But the governor told us he has a good reason for waiting to call an election for the open seat.
Know this, and that is, that election is in Harris County, and Harris County is a repeat failure as it concerns operating elections. Had I called that very quickly, it could have led to a failure in that election, just like Harris County has failed in other elections. They need to have adequate time to operate a fair and accurate election, not a crazy election like what they've conducted in the past.
Abbott said he would call a special election soon, but did not give a timetable for that announcement. We reached out to the Harris County Clerk's office, and in a statement, County Clerk Tanisha Hudspeth says she remains fully prepared to conduct the special election as soon as the governor issues the order. For context, this would be the second special election in the 18th Congressional District in less than a year. Last July, Representative Sheila Jackson Lee died after a battle with cancer. In August, less than 3 weeks after Lee's death, Governor Abbott called a special election to fill the remainder of her term. That election was held in November, but Lee would have been up for re-election, so voters actually had 2 elections for the 18th congressional seat. One to fill out the remainder of Jackson Lee's term, and one for the new term. Jackson Lee's daughter, Erica, won the special election and held the seat until January when the new Congress was sworn in. Meanwhile, Sylvester Turner won the general election and took over the seat at the start of the congressional session. The 18th district was once held by Texas political icon Barbara Jordan. Democrats have won every election in that district since 1972. Democrats make a big change to try to end a losing streak in Texas.
We can either argue with people and tell them they're wrong, or we can look in the mirror and we can own up to it and we can make it right.
We speak one-on-one with the newly elected state party chair, how his plan aims to help the blue team win in Texas. The Texas Lottery Commission takes its biggest vendor to court. We look closer at what's behind the legal action and ongoing questions facing the commission. A company that gets funding from the state to manage the care of sick and disabled children accused of using investigators to target patients. The changes that could be on the way after a heated hearing.